The morning sun shone bright over the fields of New Terra. Jae-ho Kim wiped sweat from his face as he checked his corn crops. The tall plants swayed in the gentle breeze, their green leaves rustling softly. His wife Min-jung worked in their vegetable garden nearby, picking fresh tomatoes for lunch. Their daughter So-young sat on the porch reading a book, her school bag beside her. Max, their old German shepherd, lay in his favorite spot under the apple tree. The big dog watched everything with bright brown eyes. He had been with the Kim family for 8 years now. Jae-ho found him as a puppy near their old home on Earth. The dog seemed ordinary, but he was very smart. Sometimes Jae-ho thought Max understood more than most dogs should. "Dad, look at those ships," So-young called out, pointing to the sky. Jae-ho looked up and saw 3 large metal ships coming down from the clouds. They were bigger than any transport ships that usually visited their small farming colony. These ships looked different. They had sharp edges and glowed with strange purple light. "Min-jung, get inside the house," Jae-ho said quietly. His voice was calm but serious. He had been a soldier once, before they moved to this peaceful planet. He knew danger when he saw it. The ships landed hard in the fields, crushing the corn plants. Doors opened with loud hissing sounds. Tall creatures walked out. They looked like giant lizards standing on 2 legs. They wore black armor and carried weapons that hummed with energy. Their yellow eyes looked cold and mean. "We are taking biological samples," the largest creature said. Its voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. "Do not resist. B. What do you want with us?" Jae-ho asked, stepping in front of his family. "Your species interests our scientists. You will come with us." More creatures spread out across the colony. Jae-ho heard screaming from other farms. Families were being dragged from their homes. Children cried as they were separated from their parents. "Please, we have done nothing wrong," Min-jung said, holding So-young close. The creatures did not listen. They pointed their weapons at the family. Jae-ho knew he could not fight them all. He had to keep his family alive. "We will come quietly," he said. "Just do not hurt my wife and daughter." One of the creatures scanned them with a small device. When it pointed the scanner at Max, strange sounds came from the machine. Numbers flashed on the screen that made the creature's eyes grow wide. "This animal has unusual readings," the creature said to its leader. "Bring it as well. Our scientists will want to study it." They forced the Kim family into one of the ships. Max stayed close to them, his body tense but calm. Other families were already inside, sitting on metal benches. Everyone looked scared. Some people were crying. The ship's engines roared to life. Through small windows, Jae-ho watched their home get smaller as they flew away from New Terra. He had built that farm with his own hands. Now, he might never see it again. During the long trip through space, they were kept in holding cells. The walls were cold metal. They gave them water and strange-tasting food once a day. So-young tried to stay brave, but Jae-ho could see she was frightened. "Where do you think they are taking us?" Min-jung whispered. "I do not know," Jae-ho replied, "but we must stay together, no matter what happens." Other prisoners told them scary stories. They said the aliens were called Velcarians. They said the Velcarians took people to do experiments on them. Many people went into their laboratories, but never came out. Max lay beside So-young during the trip. The dog seemed strangely calm. Most animals would be terrified, but Max acted like he was waiting for something. Sometimes Jae-ho caught the dog looking at him with very intelligent eyes. It was almost like Max was trying to tell him something. On the 3rd day, the ship slowed down. Through the windows, they saw a huge space station. It was made of dark metal and covered with blinking lights. The station was bigger than their entire colony back home. "Welcome to Research Station Omega-7, a voice said through speakers in the walls. The ship docked with loud, clanging sounds. Guards came to take them off the ship. They were moved into a large room with white walls and bright lights. Scientists in white coats looked at them like they were studying insects. One scientist seemed very interested in Max. He had pale green skin and 4 arms. His name tag said, Dr. HFY. This creature has very unusual brain patterns. Dr. HFY said, looking at his scanner. Its genetic code has markers I have never seen before. End quote. What does that mean? So Young asked quietly. It means your pet is special, the doctor said with a cold smile. We will study it very carefully. Guards began separating families into different groups. They put numbers on everyone's arms. The Kim family got the numbers 2,847, 2,848, 2,849, and 2,850. Max got a red tag that said, Special Subject Alpha. No, please keep us together, Minjung begged. Your family will go to Laboratory Block C, Dr. HFY said. The animal comes with me for immediate testing. 2 guards grabbed Max's collar to drag him away. The dog had been calm for 3 days, but now he started to resist. He looked directly at Jae-ho. For just a moment, Max gave a small nod. It was the kind of nod a person would give, not a dog. Jae-ho felt cold fear in his stomach. Something was very strange about their dog. Max knew something they did not. As the guards pulled Max away, the dog's eyes seemed to glow for just a second in the bright lights. Take good care of him, So Young called out, as they led Max down a different hallway. Dr. HFY laughed. Oh, we will take very good care of your pet. He is going to help us learn many new things. The guards pushed the Kim family toward Laboratory Block C. As they walked down the long white hallway, Jae-ho wondered what would happen to them. He also wondered why Max had acted so strangely. Their simple farming life was over. Now they were prisoners in a place where terrible things happened to people. But deep in his heart, Jae-ho felt that Max would find a way to help them. The dog had always protected their family. Maybe he could protect them here too, even in this cold, scary place so far from home. Dr. HFY walked quickly to his laboratory, excited about his new test subject. Max walked calmly beside the guards, not fighting anymore. The laboratory was full of strange machines and bright lights. Metal tables sat in the middle of the room with straps and needles attached. Put the animal on the main table, Dr. HFY ordered his helpers. I want to start cutting immediately. The doctor looked at his computer screen. Max's brain scans showed patterns he had never seen before. The dog's blood tests revealed genetic codes that should not exist in any Earth animal. Dr. HFY believed he had found a new super-evolved species from Earth. This creature will make me famous, he said to his assistant, a younger Valkyrian named Keslan. When I discover its secrets, the Empire will give me the highest honors. They lifted Max onto the cold metal table. The dog did not struggle. He just lay there with calm brown eyes, watching everything they did. Dr. HFY prepared a large needle filled with strong sleeping medicine. This drug will put down a creature 10 times bigger than you, the doctor said to Max. He pushed the needle into Max's leg and waited. Usually, animals fell asleep within seconds. But Max just lay there, awake and alert. His breathing stayed normal. His heart beat steadily. Strange. Dr. HFY said, Give me the stronger medicine. Strange. Give me the stronger medicine. They tried 3 different drugs. None of them worked. Max stayed completely awake. The doctor began to feel worried. No animal should be able to resist their strongest medicines. Maybe we should wait and study this more, Keslan suggested quietly. No, Dr. HFY snapped. I will not let this opportunity escape. Start cutting without the medicine. As they brought the surgical tools closer, something impossible happened. Max's brown eyes began to glow with blue light. The bright laboratory lights started to flicker. The room became very cold, like winter had suddenly arrived. What is happening to the temperature controls? Dr. Zexhai demanded. The computers around the room began making error sounds. Screens flickered and went dark. The surgical tools in their hands became so cold they hurt to touch. Ice began forming on the metal table around Max. Deep inside Max's mind, something ancient was waking up. For 8 years, he had been content to live as a simple family dog. He loved the Kim family truly. They fed him, played with him, and treated him with kindness. But he was not just a dog. He was something much older and more powerful. Long ago, his real master had placed him with the Kim family. She chose them because they had pure hearts and showed kindness to all living things. Max's job was to watch over them and keep them safe. For years, that had been easy. But now, they were in great danger. Ancient magic began flowing through his body. The simple dog shape he wore like clothing started to change. His fur became darker and seemed to move on its own. His size began to grow larger. "This is impossible," Dr. Zexhai whispered, backing away from the table. "Animals cannot do this." Max stood up on the table. He was now twice his normal size and still growing. His eyes burned with bright blue fire. When he opened his mouth, they could see teeth that were much sharper than any normal dog's teeth. The laboratory door exploded open as security guards rushed in. They had heard the alarms and come to help. But when they saw Max, they stopped and stared in terror. The creature on the table no longer looked like the small earth animal they had brought in. "Shoot it!" Dr. Zexhai screamed. The guards fired their energy weapons. The bright bolts of light hit Max, but passed right through him like he was made of shadow. He jumped down from the table, moving faster than anything that big should be able to move. The metal straps that should have held him lay broken on the floor like paper. Max looked at each Velcarian in the room. His blue eyes promised terrible things would happen to them. Dr. Zexhai ran toward the emergency button that would lock down the laboratory. But before he could reach it, Max was in front of him. The doctor had not seen him move. One moment the creature was across the room. The next he was right there. "Please," Dr. Zexhai begged. "We just wanted to study you. We meant no harm." Max did not attack him. Instead, the creature walked past him toward the door. He had more important things to do than punish these fools. He had to find his family. As Max left the laboratory, the computers began working again. The lights stopped flickering. The ice melted. But Dr. Zexhai and his team were left shaking with fear. "Send a message to all security teams," the doctor said with a trembling voice. "We have a dangerous creature loose on the station." "What kind of creature?" Kieslon asked. "I do not know," Dr. Zexhai admitted. "But it is not from Earth. At least, not the Earth we know about." Max moved through the station's hallways like a shadow. The security cameras could not see him clearly. He seemed to appear and disappear at will. Guards who tried to stop him found themselves facing empty corridors. Deep in space, something felt Max's awakening. On a distant planet called Earth, in a small house hidden in dark forests, an old woman opened her eyes. She had been sleeping, but now she sensed that one of her guardians was in danger. The woman was very old. Older than any human should be able to live. She had many names, but most people knew her as Baba Yaga. She was a witch who had lived for thousands of years. She had placed guardians like Max with special families all across the galaxy. "Someone has dared to harm my children," she whispered. Her voice was soft, but it carried power that could shake mountains. Baba Yaga stood up from her chair. She walked to a window and looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, a family she protected was in danger. The people who took them did not know what they had done. They did not know who they had angered. "Max," she said quietly, "I am coming." Back on the space station, Max continued his hunt. He could smell fear from the Velcarians. He could sense his family's location somewhere deeper in the station. But most importantly, He could feel his master's attention focusing on this place. The station's communication array began picking up a strange signal from deep space. It was not like any transmission they had ever received. The computers could not translate the language, but somehow everyone who heard it felt cold terror in their hearts. Dr. HFY stared at the message on his screen. What does this mean? I think, Keslan said quietly, we may have made a very big mistake. The signal kept coming. And with each repetition, it seemed to get closer and more angry. Something was coming to the station. Something that would make their escaped test subject look like a small problem. Max heard the signal too. He understood the ancient words his master spoke. She was telling him to protect the family and wait for her arrival. Soon, these creatures who had dared to harm innocent people would learn why it was dangerous to anger Baba Yaga. The real terror was just beginning. Far away on Earth, in a small wooden house hidden deep in the Carpathian Mountains, Baba Yaga sat up from her meditation. She had been sleeping for 3 months, but now, something had awakened her. Her ancient senses told her that one of her guardians was in terrible danger. The witch looked around her simple home. Chickens walked freely through the rooms. Old books sat on wooden shelves. Dried herbs hung from the ceiling. To most people, she would look like a harmless old grandmother, but appearances could be very deceiving. Baba Yaga closed her eyes and reached out with her mind across the vast distances of space. She found Max immediately. Her faithful guardian was afraid and angry. Through his eyes, she saw the cold metal corridors of an alien space station. She felt his worry for the human family he protected. They have taken my children, she whispered. Her voice was soft, but the chickens in her house stopped moving. The books on her shelves trembled slightly. They have dared to harm those under my protection. The old witch stood up from her chair. As she did, she began to change. Her bent back straightened. Her thin arms grew stronger. Her gray hair darkened and moved like it was alive. Power flowed through her ancient body. She walked outside to her garden where a strange vehicle waited. It looked like a giant mortar and pestle made of black stone, but it glowed with starlight. This was how Baba Yaga traveled between the stars, using magic older than most civilizations. Max, she said, speaking directly to her guardian's mind across the galaxy. Hold them safe. I am coming. On the space station, Max heard his master's voice in his head. New strength flowed through his supernatural body. The connection to Baba Yaga made him even more powerful than before. He began moving faster through the station, hunting for his family. The Kim family sat in their small holding cell in Laboratory Block C. They had been waiting for hours, without knowing what happened to Max. Other prisoners around them whispered fearfully about the experiments they would face. I hope Max is okay, So Young said quietly. He is strong, Jae-ho replied, trying to comfort his daughter. But inside, he worried too. What could one dog do against all these aliens? Suddenly, the lights in their section began to flicker. The temperature dropped so quickly they could see their breath. Strange sounds echoed through the corridors. Sounds like wind howling through old forests. What is happening? Min Jung asked. The guard outside their cell looked nervous. He spoke into his communication device. Command Center. We are experiencing system failures in Laboratory Block C. All sections report system failures, came the reply. Something is affecting the entire station. Dr. HFY sat in the main laboratory, staring at his computer screens. Every system on the station was malfunctioning. The hull showed stress fractures that appeared and disappeared. Gravity kept changing direction in random sections. Worst of all, crew members reported seeing things that should not exist. Sir, Keslan said with a shaking voice, the long-range sensors are detecting an approaching object. What kind of object? Dr. HFY demanded. We cannot identify it. It appears to be small, but our instruments cannot get a proper reading. It seems to exist in multiple dimensions at the same time. On the station's main screen, they watched something impossible approach. It looked like a giant mortar and pestle made of starlight and shadow. It moved through space without any visible engines, ignoring the laws of physics. "What kind of technology is that?" the station commander asked. "I do not think it is technology," Dr. Zexhai whispered. "I think it is magic." The strange craft came close to the station and stopped. It just floated there, but its presence made all their equipment act strangely. Then, they heard a voice speaking through their communication systems. The voice was old and filled with terrible power. "I am Baba Yaga," the voice said, in perfect Valkyrian, though no human should know their language. "You have taken what belongs to me. You have 1 hour to release them unharmed, or face consequences beyond your understanding." "This is Commander Veltar," the station commander replied. "We are conducting legal research under Imperial law. Your laws mean nothing to me." Baba Yaga's voice replied. "I am older than your empire. I am older than your species. Release my children, or learn why mortals fear the dark." The communication ended. The station fell silent, except for the sounds of failing machinery. But Baba Yaga did not wait for their answer. She had already decided these creatures needed to be taught a lesson. The witch began her assault on the station immediately. Reality itself began to bend around Research Station Omega-7. Corridors that had been straight became twisted mazes. Rooms appeared that had never existed before. Some sections experienced winter cold, while others became burning hot. Max felt his master's power flowing through the station. He used this moment to break free from the security teams hunting him. Moving like living shadow, he made his way toward Laboratory Block C, where his family waited. The Valkyrian guards could not understand what was happening. Their weapons fired on their own. Their armor became too heavy to move in. Some guards found themselves walking on the ceiling, while gravity had reversed beneath their feet. "Release all the human prisoners," Commander Veltar ordered desperately. Maybe that will stop whatever is happening. But his crew was too terrified to function properly. The supernatural chaos made normal operations impossible. Elevators went to floors that did not exist. Computer screens showed images of dark forests and flying houses. In Laboratory Block C, the cell doors suddenly opened by themselves. The Kim family looked out cautiously. Other human prisoners were also stepping out of their cells, confused but hopeful. "The doors just opened," Jeho said. "But where can we go?" "Follow me," said a familiar voice. They turned to see Max standing at the end of the corridor. But he was different now. He was much larger than before, and his fur seemed to be made of starlight and shadow. His eyes glowed with blue fire. "Max?" So Young asked uncertainly. The great wolf lowered his head gently. When he spoke, his voice was warm and familiar, even though he had never spoken before. "Yes, it is me. Do not be afraid. I am still your Max. I will always protect you." "You can talk?" Minjung gasped. "I could always talk," Max replied. "I just chose not to. Come quickly. My master has arrived, and this place will soon become very dangerous for everyone." The family followed their supernatural guardian through the chaotic corridors. Other human prisoners came with them, trusting the glowing wolf who had somehow come to rescue them. Behind them, they could hear Valkyrian soldiers screaming as they encountered things that should not exist. The station shook and groaned as forces beyond science tore at its structure. "Who is your master?" Jeho asked as they walked. "You will meet her soon," Max replied. "But first, we must get you to safety. Baba Yaga does not like to be kept waiting, and she is very angry about what these creatures did to you." As they reached the docking bay, they saw escape pods launching frantically. Valkyrian crew members were abandoning the station as fast as they could. Those who had directly harmed prisoners found their pods would not work, trapping them aboard to face the witch's justice. Through the viewports, they could see the impossible craft floating nearby. It pulsed with ancient power, and just looking at it made them feel both terrified and strangely safe. "Do not worry," Max said gently. "She will be kind to you. Baba Yaga protects those who show kindness to her guardians. You loved me and cared for me when I was just a simple dog. For that, you have earned her gratitude forever." The station shuddered one final time as something very old and very powerful prepared to board and finish what she had started. Baba Yaga's impossible craft moved closer to the space station. As it approached, the very fabric of space around Research Station Omega-7 began to change. Stars in the distance flickered and moved to new positions, the empty void between stars filled with strange lights that hurt to look at directly. Inside the station, Commander Veltar watched his instruments go completely insane. "All weapons, fire on that craft," he ordered desperately. The station's powerful energy cannons fired volley after volley at Baba Yaga's vessel. The bright beams of destruction should have vaporized any normal ship. Instead, they passed right through it like it was made of mist. Some of the weapon beams curved back and struck the station itself. "How is this possible?" Dr. Zexhai whispered as he watched from the laboratory. "Nothing can ignore our weapons like that." The answer came when Baba Yaga's voice echoed through the station again. This time, she did not use their communication systems. Her words came from the walls themselves, from the air they breathed, from inside their own minds. "Your weapons are toys, children. You play with forces you do not understand. Now you will learn what real power looks like." The witch began her true assault. She did not attack with weapons or explosives. Instead, she attacked with nightmares made real. Sections of the station transformed into dark forests filled with terrible creatures. Corridors became caves that led nowhere. Some Valkyrian soldiers found themselves trapped in rooms that grew smaller every minute. The artificial gravity went completely mad. In some areas, people fell upward toward the ceiling. In others, gravity pulled in 4 different directions at once. One unlucky group of guards found themselves floating in the middle of a room while their equipment fell in all directions around them. "Evacuate the station," Commander Veltar ordered. "All non-essential personnel to the escape pods immediately." But many of the escape pod bays had changed into something else entirely. What had been normal metal corridors were now twisted passages that seemed to go on forever. Some crew members ran toward the exits for hours without ever reaching them. Meanwhile, Max led the Kim family and other rescued prisoners through the chaos. His supernatural senses guided them safely past the worst of Baba Yaga's magical traps. The great wolf moved confidently through corridors that shifted and changed, always knowing which way would lead to safety. "How do you know where to go?" So Young asked as they walked past a section where the walls were covered in moving vines. "My master's magic does not affect me," Max explained. "I can see through her illusions to find the real paths." Behind them, they could hear Valkyrian soldiers screaming in terror. Zexhai's assistant, Keslan, ran past them with his scales turned completely white from fear. "The laboratory," he babbled as he ran. "She turned the laboratory into a house of horrors. All our test subjects came back to life. They remember everything we did to them." Jeho felt both satisfaction and pity for the young alien. Justice was being served. But it was terrible justice. They reached a large viewing area with windows that showed space outside. There, floating beside the station, they could see Baba Yaga's craft more clearly. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The mortar and pestle shape seemed to be carved from crystallized starlight. Ancient symbols glowed along its sides. "She is coming aboard now," Max said quietly. As they watched, a figure stepped out of the craft and walked across empty space toward the station's hull. She moved like she was walking on solid ground, even though there was nothing but vacuum around her. The metal wall of the station opened like a flower to let her pass through. Baba Yaga had arrived. The witch appeared to be an old human woman wearing simple dark robes. She walked with a wooden staff that looked like an ordinary walking stick. But her eyes held power, older than stars. When she looked at something, reality bent to match her will. "Where is the one who ordered my guardian's torture?" she asked. Her voice was calm, but carried the weight of mountains. The station's computer systems, somehow understanding her question, displayed Dr. Zexhi's location on every screen. The doctor was hiding in his private laboratory, trying to barricade the door. Baba Yaga walked through the station toward him. Walls became doorways when she approached them. Locked doors opened themselves. Security barriers simply faded away. Nothing could stop her progress. She found Dr. Zexhi cowering behind an overturned table. The Velkarian scientist looked up at her with terrified yellow eyes. "Please," he begged. "I was only following orders. The Empire demands we study all new species." "You were going to cut up my guardian while he was awake," Baba Yaga said simply. "I will free all the prisoners. I will stop all experiments. Just please, do not hurt me." Baba Yaga considered this. "Very well. You will experience every experiment you have ever performed on unwilling subjects. All of them. At once." She pointed her staff at the doctor. He began to scream as his body experienced every pain he had ever caused others. But this punishment was magical. It would not kill him, just teach him exactly how his victims had suffered. The witch continued through the station, finding everyone who had been directly involved in harming prisoners. Her justice was swift, but fair. Those who had just followed orders found themselves teleported to the nearest safe planet with their memories intact as a warning. Those who had given cruel orders or enjoyed causing pain faced punishments that fit their crimes. Commander Veltar was transformed into one of the test animals he had allowed to be tortured. Dr. Zexhi's other assistants found themselves trapped in the same kind of cells where they had kept their victims. Finally, Baba Yaga reached the docking bay, where Max waited with the rescued prisoners. When the witch saw the Kim family safe and unharmed, her terrible anger softened. She smiled warmly at them. "Thank you for caring for my guardian," she said in perfect Korean. "You treated him with love when you thought he was just a simple dog. That kindness has saved you." "We did not know he was special," Minjung said quietly. "We just loved him because he was part of our family." "That is exactly why you are special," Baba Yaga replied. "You showed kindness without expecting anything in return. Such people are rare in the galaxy." She looked around at all the human prisoners they had rescued. "I offer you all a choice. I can erase your memories of this terrible experience and return you to your old lives. Or you can accept the truth about the universe and help me protect others from creatures like these." So Young stepped forward bravely. "What would we have to do? Help my guardians find families in danger. Rescue those who cannot rescue themselves. Stand between the innocent and those who would harm them." Jae-ho looked at his wife and daughter. He thought about their peaceful farm, but he also thought about all the other families who might suffer as they had. If we choose to help, will we be able to stay together? On. Always, Baba Yaga promised. Family is the most important thing in any world. The Kim family looked at each other and nodded. They had made their choice. "We will help," Jae-ho said firmly. Max wagged his tail, even though he was now a supernatural wolf. "I knew you would choose to help others. That is why I love you." Baba Yaga smiled and began preparing to transform the captured space station into something better. The terror was ending, but a new adventure was just beginning. The Kim family stood in the transformed docking bay of what used to be Research Station Omega-7. Baba Yaga had changed the cold metal walls into warm wooden panels. Soft lights replaced the harsh fluorescent beams. The place now felt more like a cozy inn than a space station. "You have made a brave choice," the witch said, looking at each family member with ancient, kind eyes. "But choosing to help others is not without risks. Are you certain this is what you want?" Jae-ho spoke for his family. "We are certain We cannot go back to our quiet life knowing that other families might suffer what we suffered. Baba Yaga nodded with approval. Then I will give you gifts to help you in this work. She approached Jeho first. You were a soldier once. You protected your country and your family. Now, you will protect the innocent across the stars. She touched his forehead gently with one finger. Jeho felt warmth spread through his mind. Suddenly, he could sense supernatural dangers that were invisible before. He could feel when magic was being used nearby. He could tell when someone meant harm to innocent people. You now have the sight that sees through lies and deceptions, Baba Yaga explained. Evil cannot hide from you anymore. Next, she turned to Minjung. You have always been a healer. You cared for your family and helped sick people in your community. Now your healing power will work on injuries that normal medicine cannot touch. When the witch touched Minjung's hands, they began to glow with soft golden light. You can now heal both body and spirit. You can remove the pain that comes from magical attacks and help people recover from supernatural trauma. Finally, Baba Yaga knelt down to face So Young. You are young, but you have a pure heart. You see the good in all creatures. That gift will serve you well. She touched So Young's ears gently. You can now understand and speak with any intelligent being, no matter what language they use or even if they do not use words at all. You will be the bridge that connects different species. So Young gasped as her mind filled with the ability to understand hundreds of different languages and forms of communication. She could even sense the emotions of the people around her. What about Max? So Young asked. Max, still in his large supernatural wolf form, padded over to the family. I remain with you always, he said warmly. I am your guardian, your protector, and most importantly, your family member. That will never change. But now you all know the truth about what I really am, Max continued. I am a spirit guardian, created by Baba Yaga, hundreds of years ago. I was placed with your family because your ancestors once helped a magical creature in need. That kindness has protected your family line for generations. Baba Yaga smiled at their reunion. Max will teach you how to use your new abilities. He has been doing this work for centuries. The witch led them to a large room that had once been the station's command center. Now it looked like a comfortable living area with soft chairs and warm fireplaces. Large windows showed the stars outside. This station is now a waypoint for supernatural travelers, Baba Yaga explained. The remaining Velkarian crew will maintain it, but they serve me now. They have learned the error of their ways. Well, she gestured to screens that showed locations throughout the galaxy. From here, you can monitor supernatural threats and respond when innocent people need help. You are not alone in this work. I have many agents across the stars. The screens lit up to show other families and individuals in different parts of the galaxy. Some were humans, like the Kims. Others were aliens, who had proven their kindness and bravery. All of them worked together to protect those who could not protect themselves. Your first mission will be soon, Baba Yaga said. There are psychic children being held by slave traders in the Outer Rim. They need rescue. We will save them, Jeho said with determination. Over the following weeks, the Kim family learned to use their new abilities. Jeho practiced sensing supernatural threats. Minjung learned to heal injuries caused by dark magic. So Young discovered she could talk to aliens, spirits, and even artificial intelligences. Max taught them about the hidden supernatural world that existed alongside the normal galaxy. He showed them how to recognize different types of magical creatures, both good and evil. He explained the ancient laws that governed supernatural beings. The most important rule, Max told them one evening as they sat by the fireplace, is to always protect the innocent. Power exists to serve others, not to make yourself important. Their first rescue mission came a month later. Slave traders had captured a group of children from different planets. These children had telepathic abilities that made them valuable as living computers. They were being sold to the highest bidders. The Kim family traveled to the slave market in their own ship, which Baba Yaga had given them. It looked like an ordinary cargo vessel, but it was protected by powerful magic. Using their new abilities, they infiltrated the slave auction. Jae-ho's enhanced senses helped him locate all the guards. Min-jung prepared healing supplies for the rescued children. So-young communicated with the frightened young prisoners to let them know help was coming. Max, in his supernatural form, dealt with the slave traders directly. His presence terrified them so much that most simply ran away. Those who tried to fight found their weapons would not work against a creature of pure magic. They rescued 15 children and returned them to their families. The grateful parents could hardly believe their children were safe. Some tried to offer rewards, but the Kim family refused payment. "This is what good people do," Min-jung explained to one thankful mother. "We help each other." Word of the Kim family's work began to spread through certain circles. Other families who had lost children to supernatural threats started sending messages asking for help. The Valkyrians, who had always been feared as conquerors, began to hear whispers about mysterious protectors who could not be stopped. The Valkyrian Empire itself took notice. After Research Station, Omega-7 had been transformed, and Dr. Zexhai's fate became known. The Empire quietly changed its policies. They stopped capturing humans for experiments. They especially avoided any humans who traveled with animal companions. "They have learned to fear what they do not understand," Baba Yaga told the family during one of her visits. "That is good. Fear will keep them from harming innocents." 6 months after their capture, the Kim family had completed 12 rescue missions. They had saved families from supernatural threats, stopped evil spirits from attacking colonies, and even helped broker peace between warring alien species. Their reputation grew. Some called them the Shadow Family, because they appeared from nowhere to help people in need. Others called them the Wolf Pack, because of Max's fearsome, supernatural form. But to themselves, they were still just the Kim family. They still ate dinner together every night. So-young still did her homework, though now it included lessons about galactic supernatural law. Min-jung still took care of everyone, though now her patients included aliens and magical creatures. Jae-ho had found a new purpose that felt even more meaningful than his time as a soldier. Instead of fighting wars, he was protecting the innocent. Instead of destroying enemies, he was building a safer galaxy for all families. One evening, as they sat together watching the stars through their ship's windows, So-young asked a question. "Max, do you miss being a simple dog sometimes?" Max, who was lying by the fireplace in his large wolf form, considered the question carefully. "I miss the simplicity sometimes," he said. "But I would not trade our life now for anything. We are helping people. We are making the galaxy safer for families like ours used to be." And, he added with what might have been a smile, Min-jung reached over and scratched behind his ears. Even as a supernatural guardian spirit, Max still loved having his ears scratched. Their communicator chimed with a new message. Another family in distress. Another chance to help. Jae-ho stood up and checked the coordinates. "It looks like we have work to do." "Together?" So-young asked. "Always together," the whole family replied. They set course for their next mission, traveling through space as a family of guardians. Behind them, the transformed station continued its work as a sanctuary for supernatural travelers. Ahead of them, people in need waited for rescue. Max looked out at the stars and felt grateful. He had spent centuries serving Baba Yaga, protecting many different families. But the Kims had given him something special. They had made him truly part of a family. Now they would protect other families together, just as families should do for each other across the galaxy.